step into the royal realm of kindergarten with the Queen and the King of Kindergarten, written by Derek Barnes and illustrated by my girl, Vanessa Brantley Newton. I'm a huge fan of her work. And I did a previous episode with Vanessa in a previous episode, so I will click on that link below so you can catch up on that fabulous interview. But I am so excited to share with you two fabulous book reviews today. And if you are new to my channel and my podcast, hello, I am Jeva Edmonds, and I am sharing all of my favorite diverse books and reviews with you so you, educator or community member, know the value to share with those that you teach and those you can learn from. And this books that I have is just a delight. When I started teaching first grade many moons ago, I'm out of the classroom now, I loved having books that would get my students geared up and learning. And when you are a kindergarten teacher, this book series is for you. It really talks deep into each one of their personalities, and it also shows our students, especially our young learners coming into a big school, that they can do anything they put their mind to. So what we're going to do first and foremost, I'm going to start with the Queen herself, Miss M.J. Malone, and I'm going to share with you just a couple of my favorite things about this book, and then we're going to switch with the King. So, Miss M.J., my favorite part about her story is she reminds me of me when I was little, I have to say. My mom would always do my hair just right. I'd be wearing dresses in kindergarten too. But she talks about how her mom washed and braided her hair. She's got her fresh new outfit after she took a nice little bath. And her mom gifts her a tiara that she wore on her first day of school. And it talks about how her mom crowned her the Queen of Kindergarten. And what I love about how Derek writes this story, both of them to be exact, but he talks and writes about how the mother affirmed her daughter that she can do anything. And she gave her daughter a set of rules by being the Queen of Kindergarten. She talks about how queens, and I quote, brighten up every room that they enter. And queens are caring and kind. They're always helpful. And they have a good way of showing kindness to all. And it talks about how little MJ is keeping that list in the back of her mind, and how her parents kind of play around and say, oh, your chariot awaits. And MJ gets, her chariot with her dad driving in his big red pickup truck. And they are heading off to school. And it always shows us, on kindergarten day, how, that send off, it just tugs at your heartstrings of going and dropping your child off to their, first step of their educational journey. And it talks about how, Mrs. Lovinggood is welcoming to everyone in class. Find your name. I remember those days when I taught first grade. Find your name on your desk. Find your name on your locker. And it just, what I love to see with the illustrations. Thank you, Vanessa. She always has a kaleidoscope of people of all walks of life in her illustrations. And it shows, a teacher that is African American and kids of all walks of life in the classroom, to show that it is possible and representation is so important. She talks about with Miss MJ wanting to be the window monitor and brightening up the day by letting the sun shine in. I love how little MJ notices a friend who could use, an encouraging word and a helping hand, and how little Raina was missing, home. And she, a lot of kindergartners and first graders, they want to go home that first day, and they don't know, they're anxious about how things are going to turn out. And she remembers by wearing that tiara that, oh yes, I'm going to make you feel good too, because my mom said, I'm helpful and kind. And it talks about, going through the classroom routine, having activities together and sharing. How many times, kindergarten teachers, have we reminded and redirected? Don't forget to share. Let's build together. No, we don't throw that. Am I right? And helping and comparing, eating, lunch and who has what for lunch, and activities with the teacher outside, double dutch. Oh, that brings me back. I loved double dutch when I was a kid. And it just talks about, what happens in the routine of the day with MJ's book. After we go back from outside, we go into the art room, we do all kinds of activities, we sing, and being active outside for recess, and I just love MJ's personality when she goes, and don't let my tiara fool you, like I am bad on the field when I am playing my soccer. I just love how bright and positive the Queen of Kindergarten is, and I really, really can't stress enough to get both of them as a set and read them on separate days, or the first day, one in the morning and one at snack time, whatever you decide. But it really shows the family in a very positive way, because a lot of us, when we talk about African American families or families of color, those stereotypes creep up. And I like how Derek is like, no, not today. We are going to show what family life looks like. Right, thank you for that. The King of Kindergarten, written again by Derek Barnes, illustrated by Vanessa Brantley Newton. He also shows a new young boy, the King of Kindergarten. And what I love about it is he wakes up, he's ready to go. You see the king lying on his bed. It's just adorable. And he said, his mommy also told him that he is going to be the King of Kindergarten. I love how he describes himself getting ready. I am going to brush my quote unquote royal chiclets for his teeth, if you remember chiclet gum. And I love how he's got his garments, hand-picked from the far-off villages of Oshkosh and Bagash. I'm definitely aging myself, but raise your hand if you had those Oshkosh Bagash, overalls, right? They're just adorable. So this one with this young king, he talks about, getting ready, and his mom, kind of looking at him as, oh, my baby's going to school. But he's like, baby, where? He's eating his breakfast. His dad is measuring him up to see if he'll be taller than him one day. And he's like, I know, I'm going to be tall one day. And I love how, to compare the two, you could do a whole T-chart, teachers, of MJ going to school and our young king. What mode of transportation did they go, right? He's going on this yellow carriage, the bus, to get to school, and just being confident in himself, walking into, the doorway of school and meeting and greeting his teacher. Again, seeing kids of all walks of life, African American teacher. And I love how, this king is sharing, what he did and meeting, other kindergartners and going through the rules and the routines of what to expect. This was such a great book. He talks about here how this young king is sharing, playing together. Oh my gosh, the seesaw, that brings me back when we were kids. And, having that imagination, battling fire-breathing dragons, and I quote, being kind to each other. Hey, I packed an extra dessert pudding cup. Why don't you have mine too, Howie? It's just so cute on how, they show kindness and nap time, that royal rest, and I quote, and being active and listening to music and dancing and having fun. And then, of course, coming back home and getting ready for the next day. This book is so wonderful. It talks about, having the eagerness to meet his parents again and talk about his adventures at school. I really want to have you join our community of eager learners and readers and stay informed with our weekly blog updates. I write about in my blog on my website every week book reviews and cross-cultural topics that you can get if you subscribe to my newsletter. So that information will be in the description below. You don't want to miss it. I write sometimes twice a week, but if I'm really, really ambitious, you'll definitely get it twice. But I love to share with you new knowledge, new titles that you can have in your classroom, and some wonderful strategies in your inclusive workplace environment as well. And I would love for you to share this episode with your favorite kindergarten teacher and make sure that they get both books. Have that T-chart ready so they can compare the likes and the differences of the king and queen of kindergarten. Be sure to get this book wherever books are sold, The King and Queen of Kindergarten, written by Derek Barnes, illustrated by Vanessa Brantley Newton. I will see you here same time next week. Thank you for watching and listening. Bye-bye.